Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Savant video. This is episode 20 we have now. This episode is going to be a movie review, a non-spoiler movie review for the recent DCEU movie Justice League. It's been out about two weekends now, so 10 days or so. This movie is bringing all the DC EU heroes together to form their version of the Avengers, and the Justice League. The heavy hitters have all come to play in this movie. This movie has all your mainstays. We get introduced to 3 new characters. We've already been introduced in the previous DC EU movies to Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. With Superman and Wonder Woman having their own standalone movies, we're now introduced to Cyborg, The Flash, as well as Aquaman, which will have a movie coming out late 2018, around this time in 2018, November, December of next year. So they all come together in this movie to face Steppenwolf, which is connected to Darkseid. This movie is not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, but what really is important is that it's a fun movie. It's really good performances from your mains, from Ray Fisher as Cyborg, to Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, to Ben Affleck again as Batman, which is one of the best Batman, actors we've had to play Batman on film. Henry Cavill, or Cavill, I don't know how they pronounce it exactly. I've heard it both ways. Cavill back as Superman, kind of shifting more towards what people expected from Superman, though I personally liked his take on Superman in The Man of Steel, and even in Batman v Superman. They shifted him slightly enough to the lighter side to fall more in lines with the Christopher Reeves style Superman on screen, and I feel like he did a really great job with that. With not having a ton of screen time to boot, he played it off extremely well. One of the big surprises for me in the film is Ray Fisher as Cyborg. He really brought a lot of great emotion to the character. I was kind of underwhelmed from the trailers what I've had seen of Cyborg. But I'm glad that we didn't get to see every tidbit with him in the trailers. So I was really shocked and blown away by the acting chops this actor has. I know he's traditionally a stage actor that they found to play this role, and I'm glad they did. Definitely coming out of Justice League, I'm stoked about seeing Aquaman. I'm stoked about if they do have a Cyborg movie. It was announced many years ago, but we haven't heard anything recently about it. I hope from the feedback they get from Justice League that they fast track this Cyborg movie, because I'm really interested in it. And Flash as well. It's had a lot of development hurdles. I guess only time will tell what'll happen with that. Hopefully we'll see it sooner than later. Again, it was a lot of stuff behind the scenes with Zack Snyder having to leave after principal photography and Josh Whedon coming on to do reshoots. So at times the movie can feel a little uneven, but it still has a relatively good flow, and it's a very fun time at the movies. It clocks in at 2 hours on the dot. That was a mandate made by DC Films. Personally, I feel like it hurt the development of the characters and even the villain in the movie by not having it be whatever length it needed to be to tell the story. But with edits and reshoots that they did, they still made it a pleasant viewing experience. Is it my favorite DCEU movie? No, not by a long shot. Is it the worst DCEU movie? No. That is still reserved for Suicide Squad. This is not that. But it kind of falls right in the middle of the DCEU movies. It didn't start off well at the box office. Time will tell. I think it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. Again, though it's not my favorite, it's great performances. And I feel like if you've been hanging in there with the DCEU movies, I feel like they made a definitive line in the sand on where things are going to go in the future based off of this movie. And I think they're off to a good start, because they've developed their heroes in this movie. And again, coming out of this movie, I want to see a Cyborg. I want to see a Flash. I'm stoked for the Aquaman movie. Those are things that I want to see now, where before I didn't really care about them. You know, now I do care about these heroes enough that I want to see their standalone films and have that build up. So I'm even more excited for Justice League 2. So even though it stumbled a little bit out of the gates, I was checking out the box office for this week, and I saw some of the international numbers. Though, you know, people were dogging this movie hard to begin with, I feel like it can recover and be a profitable movie for Warner Brothers and DC Films. And I hope so, because I don't want to see, you know, the future of this shaken up or rebooted. I feel like they have the right people in place, as far as the actors, just the creative people behind the scenes that they kind of have to figure out to get this to work. But they have the right actors. This movie proves they have the right actors in the right roles. The only thing that I didn't care for in this movie, I didn't care for Ezra Miller's take on the Flash. I like Ezra Miller as an actor. His take on Barry Allen wasn't my favorite. All that being said, I would give this movie a solid 7 out of 10. I feel like it's definitely worth seeing on the big screen. I think it's due to repeat viewings. It's fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's a quick, fun 2 hours at the movie. And again, like I said, it's really fun, and I really enjoyed it. So it's worth viewing. If you haven't seen Justice League yet, you know, it's only been out for 2 weeks. It's going to be in the, you know, the movies for the next couple of weeks. It's worth a view, or a couple at least. So go enjoy yourself. It's worth the price of admission for sure. So if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Highly recommend it from Comic Book Savant to you guys. I will see you guys again next week for another episode, and we're going to be breaking down a non-spoiler review of the Netflix Punisher series. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out yet, just give it a moment. I'll have a non-spoiler review out for you guys soon on that as well. So be on the lookout. And if you want more content, look at the links below. It'll take you to audio episodes. It'll take you to the Comic Book Savant website, so you can get audio and video, all the content that I put out. Like, share, and subscribe to the content. Click the notification bell at the bottom to get notifications on when I release new episodes. And I will see you guys soon. Take care, and go watch this movie. You'll like it. Trust me.